on life. My name is Adewale Agboke Jr. Please review us. Rate us, give us a 5-star. Don't be a hater. Today, I get to continue talking about some superheroes. I'm going to focus on a group that is highly underestimated. I think it's a cartoon from the 1990s. It was actually created by Jim Lee. You know, Jim Lee, the one who works for DC Comics. It's called Wildcats, man. The Wildcats are probably one of the coolest cartoons. It went for one season. I think about 13 episodes. It wasn't 2 seasons, it had to be 1 season. But that's when I knew about Wildcats. And I've always felt like cartoons that are underestimated get to be shown love on Sanusi. So thank y'all for joining me tonight, man. Welcome to another episode. Awesome episode of Sanusi Not Life. For all those who celebrate Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving to you as well. That ain't nothing not celebrate, but hey, there's people out there that do celebrate it. So, but today we're gonna talk about Wildcats, man. And actually, Wildcats. And speaking of the Wildcats, I think I'm gonna go find a poster for y'all. Y'all give me a second. I think I can find it somewhere. Let me see if I can find the drawing somewhere, because Wildcats, hold on. I might be able to. All these drawings that I got here, I'm pretty sure Wildcats is in here somewhere. I mean, I see Grifter. Here we go. Yeah, Wildcats, that one right there. You know, Maul, Spartan, Voodoo, Zealot, Grifter, Warblade. Yeah, that's right. Those characters right there. So, you know, that's what Wildcats right there. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 6 amazing characters. It was my introduction to superheroes, man. It was one of those 1990s cartoons that was super cool. It was also in that era when you had cartoons like Skeleton Warriors. I'm trying to think. Marvel Action Hour, stuff like that. They had a lot of cool cartoons, man. Cartoons was the jump off back then. So, yo, Wildcats, thank y'all for joining me, man. And today, before we get into this amazing podcast, this television podcast is brought to you by Homeland Fashions, home of authentic African fashions and accessories from the motherland. That's Homeland Fashions. Homeland Fashions is owned and operated by Tracy Agboke, an amazing designer. She's working on her own brand now. I think that's what's always cool about everybody that I'm rolling with or working with. They're independent, and that's the way it has got to be now. I mean, there's too much space for you to still depend on in the old school where you're counting on a company to promote your brand and get your brand out. No, do it yourself. You know what I'm saying? So Homeland Fashions, home authentic African fashion and accessories from the motherland. Right here, that's their logo right there. And we'll have her on the show soon. That way she can be part of the amazing show and show us what's going on with Homeland Fashions, how far they've come, where they're going to go. So I'm looking forward to that. You know what I mean? Homeland Fashions. And this podcast also brought to you by Tigler. If you need executive services from plumbers to pediatricians and everything between, search Tigler. Don't wait. That's Tigler.com. Don't wait. That's Tigler.com. Tigler is owned and operated by Aditya Agboke. I've had him on here before. And if you want to check out who he is, you can check out the episode on my podcast, episode number 170, I think. Tigler.com, that's their logo right there. Now, if you need executive services from plumbers, pediatricians, carpenters, landscapers, anything with business, you got to go to Tigler.com. My sponsors are usually people that are independent individuals that do their own thing, and I'm really proud of that because I love the fact that I actually can connect these with these individuals. So, Homeland Fashions, Tigler.com, owned and operated by Aditya Agboke, the best CEO out there in the galaxy right now. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be on the show. I'm going to bring him on again to talk to us about Tigler and how it's growing, where it's growing to. So that's going to be another awesome. Let me tell you, I've come a long way when you know I got sponsors. And I think indirectly, my success helps the sponsors too. So that's one of the reasons why they united with me or they joined forces with me. And then also, of course, Tigler is located in 2 locations in the East Coast, in the Virginia, New York area, and of course in the West Coast, Long Beach, Los Angeles area. So Tigler.com. Don't wait. That's Tigler.com. And this podcast also brought to you by Anadel for the Naco. Don't live with foot pain. Let Anadel for the Naco make your feet happy again. That's AnadelCenter.com for details, y'all. That's AnadelCenter.com for details, y'all. As I always state, I've got these awesome custom orthotics created for me by Dr. Norinu Sode, the best foot specialist in the galaxy. Been pain-free ever since. Whenever I don't wear these, you know what I'm saying? It's structured and it's so customized. It's customized to my feet straight up. Nobody else can wear this. That's what's great about Dr. Nerusode's location. And if you're in the Dallas, Texas area or the Frisco, Texas area, you want to go see Dr. Nerusode, the best foot specialist in the galaxy, so you can get your feet where they need to be. You know, there's no need to walk around with foot pain. Now when you can have a doctor of that superb expertise to get your feet where they need to be. So if you're in the Dallas, Texas area, in the Frisco, Texas area, go see Dr. Nerusode. And if you live in the Houston, Texas area, that's nothing but 4-hour drive to go over there and go see Dr. Nerusode. So yo, That's our podcast. Our subscribe. I mean, oh my God, our sponsors right there. And look, this is the Annadale Foot and Sandal logo. So visit AnnadaleCenter.com. AnnadaleCenter.com for details, y'all. That's AnnadaleCenter.com for details, y'all. All right, man. Let's get into this amazing episode. I told you I was going to talk about the Wildcats, amazing superhero team cartoon I used to watch from the 1990s. Right here. Yeah, look at that right there. Those dudes right there. Wildcats. Some people know about Wildcats. Some people don't know about the Wildcats. I'm not really going to be shocked if nobody knows about them, because Wildcats is a cartoon from the 1990s. It was part of this amazing episode era. Thank y'all for joining me. All of y'all part of the chat right now. Be sure to share, like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. Thank you for joining me. You know what I'm saying? Wildcats is one of those cool cartoons that was created in the 1990s. The things I'm going to focus on today: the origins of the cartoon, the history of the cartoon, the characters and the abilities, comics and animation, and of course, getting your mind right. You know what I'm saying? Thank y'all for joining me, being part of the chat. Hey, everybody, how y'all doing, man? No, I don't play video games, so I'm gonna get out the way. Thank y'all for subscribing. I appreciate all of y'all, man. I was having some technical glitches with my thing, but I think we're all squared away now. So thank all of you for joining me. Happy Thanksgiving to anybody who celebrates Thanksgiving. I personally don't celebrate it, but hey, happy Thanksgiving to everybody who does. You know what I'm saying? So thank y'all for joining me, man. Welcome to another awesome episode of Silent Not Life. Today, man, like I said, we're gonna focus on this amazing episode, Wildcats. So origins for me, as I told y'all, Wildcats was a cartoon. Actually, I don't know if you watch. Let me see. I'm gonna put a question here. This is gonna let me know who knows what. Would you rather be a Wildcat? I know some people don't even know this. This is the wild thing about this. A Wildcat hero, or, oh my God, hero or day, night villain. So y'all, that's the question of the poll of the day. You know what I'm saying? I always get these poll questions in there every time I do an episode or I go live. Hey, yeah, welcome to the chat. What's up, man? How's everybody doing, man? Some of y'all I know, some of y'all don't remember. It's been a minute. So y'all, thank y'all for joining me tonight. Now look, make sure y'all answer the poll question. Would you rather be a hero or Wildcat, or day and night a villain? So Wildcats, man, the origin story. And look, just to give y'all a reminder, I'm gonna flip the camera, let y'all see what I'm talking about. Maybe that'll give you a refresher of like, okay, this is what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Well, check this out, y'all. Y'all the poster? Well, not just showed y'all the cartoon. So look, let's get to it, man. Wildcats was created in Man, let me give y'all a right there because I want to send y'all the wrong way. But Wildcats was created by Jim Lee. Yes, y'all remember Jim Lee, the great Jim Lee that works with DC Comics now? It was created by Jim Lee in 1998. They were part of a comics group called Image Comics. And then the part of an Image comic called Image Comics. And that was at the time when people were creating independent artists, being their own comic books, having their own comics and stuff like that. So Jim Lee and I believe Brandon Choi created Wildcats. So for all y'all who don't know who Jim Lee is, which would rather shock me, I'm gonna flip the camera around so y'all can see who Jim Lee is. This is Jim Lee right here. I would be shocked if you didn't know who he was. And then this is Brandon Choi. I guess they don't have a picture of him. But Jim Lee, Brandon Choi also created Gen 13, I believe. So, so Jim Lee's been around the game for God knows how long. And so Jim Lee in 1992 creates a comic book called Wildcats, Covert.Actions.Teams, published in 1992 by Image Comics, which is what he was part of. It was him and a bunch of individuals, other individuals that are part of the group. It was Image founding partner Jim Lee's first work published by the newly launched company and his first creator-owned project. This became the starting point for Lee's imaginary of interconnected superhero creations, which became the foundation of Wildstorm universe. Yeah, so they created their own characters. I think, let me see. So in 1992, Wildcats, sometimes referred to as Wildcats or Wildcats, is a multimedia franchise based on superhero team created by Jim Lee, an American comic book artist, and with writer Brandon Choi. So they created, the published a comic in various formats in 1993 through to 2022. Wow, that's a lot of years, or 30 years of work, man, which formed the basis for the television show, a line of toys and video game. Look, you can't get no better than that. When the founders of Image Comics were developing the shared universe for their company, Rob Liefeld's positioning of Youngblood as operating like an FBI or CIA, but as maintaining a celebrity image with the public, led to Jim Lee choosing to develop a superhero team that would shun the limelight and instead focus on covert operations. Lee stated he always had liked the concept of a team that had something to prove, or who did something that no one ever knew about. So like he was into all that kind of stuff like that. And so that's what Jim Lee was doing. That's where Wildcats came from, their origins. And then of course, let me continue the origin story. The Wildcats was launched at the apex of a spectacular field comic sales boom and was wildly popular as its inception. Wholesale sales to comic soared, exceeded over 1 million copies for early years. The first series ran for 50 issues. In addition to Lee, featured work by creators such as Travis Chesrat, Chris Claremont, James Robinson, Alan Moore. The popularity saw the property expand into media, and with an animated adaptation of comic depicting on CBS in 1994 and a toy line Playmates. That's pretty awesome, because he was able to basically create a comic series, an animation series. Is that the DC universe? Yes, it's the DC universe. It is now. It wasn't before, but it is now. Yeah, it is now. So some of y'all need to chill. Some of y'all in here, some of y'all are in and out, man. I ain't got time for that, man. If you're a flake, keep it moving. You know what I mean? Oh, hello from India. How you doing? Wow, all the way from India. This is awesome. Hey, thank you. I get a lot of people from India. This is awesome. Thank y'all for joining another episode of Sanusi on Life. My name is Adewale Buka Jr. We're talking about Wildcats today. This awesome, amazing cartoon series that I used to watch as a kid. I love talking about cartoons. It's my favorite thing. Look, let me show you Wildcats. I'm going to flip the camera right and look right there. You see that? That's Wildcats right there. So that's what we're talking about right there. So like I said, so Wildcats went from 1992 to 2022 is when they retired it, I guess. So in 1998, ownership of the Wildcats concepts and characters were sold to DC, a subsidiary of Time Warner, as part of DC's acquisition of Lee's company, Wildstorm Productions. A new incarnation of the team was soon launched under the simplified title Wildcats, focusing on former members of the now disbanded team and emphasizing a grifter tone during its 28-issue run. The third series, Wildcats version 3.0, revolved around Halo Corporation, its owner, its CEO, Jack Marlowe, an amalgamation of original teams, an amalgamation of the original team members, Spartan and Void, Grifter, and a gallery of new characters, subverting corporate politics to their cause of creating a better world. The incarnation lasted 24 issues and was followed by a 9-issue limited series. Wildcats Nemesis, which returned to more superhero style reminiscence of the first series. In the late 2006, a fourth ongoing series was launched as part of the Wildstorm Publishing Initiative. The series saw the return of Jim Lee as regular penciler for the first time since his first volume. Grant Morrison took over writing duties. Only one issue was ever published, and the future issues were placed on hold. In mid-2008, the fifth volume of the Wildcats was launched, tying into the World's End crossover event. I mean, Wildcats, like, this is what usually happens to a lot of good ideas. When you join forces with a corporation like DC Comics, you are going to lose power. And probably at least, maybe Jim Lee thought it was a good idea to join them. But then once you get in there, hey, welcome all of y'all to the chat, man. Welcome to another awesome episode of Sanusi on Life, episode number 232, Wildcats. When you join forces with companies like DC, you're going to lose something, man. And what you usually lose is ownership, man. So you got to decide whether or not you're about making money, you want to own what you want to own. And I think there's this thing now that I'm kind of getting a lot of artists need to stop doing. You can own and make money. I don't know what's this obsession with signing with a corporation so they can own everything you do. These corporations, man, they don't care about ideas. They don't care about none of that. So, you know, they just mess up the whole shoe. And next thing you know, whatever you was working on that you created is no longer going to be something that you're going to enjoy anymore. Y'all get what I'm saying? So for me, being independent, having my own comic series, Covert.Assassins, I'm never going to do that. I own Covert.Assassins. I'm not joining forces with Marvel or DC. I don't want to work for them. I have no desire, interest in working for them. I will never ever let myself work for them. Hell no. Are you kidding me? No. You got these days. There's too much independent opportunities, man, for you to go begging a company to let you do what you want to do. No, just go do it yourself. It's not that hard. You know what I mean? I think people need to stop having. And I've, you know what's funny, y'all? I met a lot of, when I was growing up, when I met some of the creators of cartoons I used to watch as a kid at these comic expos. Now when I meet them, I'm not really that impressed with them. I'm not gonna name somebody, but there's somebody I used to be impressed. I used to be impressed with him because he created a cartoon I used to watch. I'm looking at him like, man, you're not even impressive, man. It's like they just have this small mind mentality, this employee mentality. I don't have no employee mentality. I own the company. You know what I'm saying? There's no way in hell I'm gonna do all this work just so I can give it to Marvel or DC. No, we're not doing that. That ain't happening. Let me see if I can find this Wildcats drawing. But the main thing for me is, yeah, here we go. I found it again. Oh yeah, there it is right there. Wildcats, baby. I drew that. I decided to draw my own drawing because I loved Wildcats that much. I love a lot of these old school cartoons, man. You know what I'm saying? And thank all of you for joining me tonight. Be sure to share, like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. We're getting closer to that glorious 1,300 subscribers. And look, Covert.Assassins Training Day comic book. I'll talk about this later on, but this is my first official comic book. There's too much independence for you to let yourself not be independent. You know what I'm saying? We got YouTube, we got TikTok, we got Twitch, we got all these platforms that you can use to get your stuff out. You don't need the big companies anymore. So I don't get it, but yo, that's the origins of Wildcats. Now I'm giving you a breakdown of the history of Wildcats because a lot of people don't understand. Like Wildcats went through many volumes, and I think the volumes of the comics is what gave it its history. So it all started in 1992, and I'm going to skim them because if I try to read the whole thing, we're going to be here for the rest of our lives. In fact, let me put on my nerd glasses so y'all can see what's up, so I can show you what time it is. Look, Wildcats Volume 1, 1992, right? Launched as an original Image comic book title by Jim Lee and his friend Brandon Choi. The comic's premise revolved around centuries-long war between aliens called Caribbean and Daemonites. Caribbean, a nearly immortal humanoid species with exceptional powers and skills, traveled to Earth by breeding with humans, populated with a planet of half-breeds. Daemonites, besides having fearsome appearance, also possess various superhuman abilities, including body possession, mental control over human beings. The initial arc brought voodoo over to the team as the reader's point of view character as Hellspawn, a Daemonite warlord, had taken control of Vice President of the United States, Dan Quayle. Rob Lofield's young co-starred in the closing chapters of the arc. It's always amazing to see what thank y'all for joining me, man. Be sure to share, like, subscribe, and definitely hit the notification button. I love getting in my nerd zone, man. You know what I'm saying? This is why I do what I do. I do it because for the love. And yo, while y'all are here, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Don't be a hater. You know what I'm saying? Because some of y'all are just haters, and that's what you do best. Ain't nobody can help you with that. But, you know, show some love, show some positive energy, bring the positive energy. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe. Now, look. So that's volume 1. Y'all give me a second. Let me grab something. And it's chilly up in here, man. Thank y'all. Sorry about that. I had to get up through. And look, y'all, don't mind me if I don't answer some of y'all's, if y'all are writing something in the chat, man. You know what I'm saying? But for me, being what I am, doing what I do, and getting where I gotta go, Jim Lee was one of those cats that inspired me to create my own cartoon series. I knew who I am as a person, that I was gonna get tired of drawing like Marvel, DC, yada 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 yada, man. That was gonna get old. I know me too well. And I just decided I was going to do my own independent thing, and I did. And I'm so proud of myself for doing it too, because now I've got my own cartoon series, Covert.Assassins. You know what I'm saying? It's from all the people that know me, and from all the people that have seen it at the comic con, like, yeah, you about to be huge. And there's something good about knowing yourself, knowing where you can go and how you can get there. Don't let nobody talk you out of doing something you want to do. There's a lot of idiots out there, and the last thing they want to see is for you to get where you got to go. So as I once heard somebody say, if you genuinely have an idea, and you think it's a good idea, don't let some idiot talk you out of it. And man, have I had a lot of idiots in my life. I've had to get rid of people, man. You know what I mean? People got to go. They got to go. Now, look, the next part of this series, because everything goes to the history of this thing, okay? So it went through a lot of series, and then the next thing was, and 1992 was probably a very critical moment for Wildcats, because I always feel like this: when an idea gets created, the most important part of it is the beginning, because you're trying to just launch it, and that's the hardest part, because now you're asking for people to give you opportunity. But I think nowadays you ain't really got to ask nobody for opportunity. If you have a YouTube channel like I got right now, if you got a TikTok platform, you got a Twitch platform, and for all of y'all who are joining me right now, please be sure to follow me on Twitch. I'm now on Twitch. I'm on Twitch. You heard what I said. I'm on Twitch. Yes, I get on Twitch all the time now too now. You know what I'm saying? I'm on Twitch. So that's where we at, man. I'm on Twitch too. So Jim Lee, being the creative of the Wildcat story, continued in a 3-part miniseries penciled by Jay Lee that introduced Demonite High Lord Hightower. Jim Lee and Mark Salisbury proceeded to publish a Killer Instinct crossover detailing Warblade's connection to Mark Salisbury's Cyber Force. So, you know, Wildcats was getting built from the ground up, man. And that's really kind of like just how you had Marvel building X-Men up or DC building Justice League up. It's the same thing Jim Lee was doing with Wildcats, except he had control of it. And I guess once he joined forces with DC, you kind of relinquished that control. James Robinson. I don't even know who that is, to be honest with y'all. Okay. Oh, it's a British comic writer. Okay. So let's move on to the next set of the next volume. So volume within that era of 1992. So Jim Lee worked with like God knows how many people. Kurt Busiek, Mike McCone, Brett Bruce, James Robinson, Steven T. Seagal, Alan Moore. Let me see. Scott Clark. Let me see. Mike Lopez, Al Rio. Let's see. Pasquale Ferry, Ed Brains. So then by 1999, after the first series cancellation, you see what I mean? Wildstorm, now an imprint of DC Comics, resurrected Wildcats under a whole new different premise. Wildcats dealt with the lives of the original members after the team's breakup following botched mission during which the team member Zealot apparently died. Scott Lobdell provided the writing for the initial 7 series, as well as Mosaic one-shot detailing the change into Lord Imp, with Travis Charest penciling most of them. New villains like Kenyon, CC Rezendo. I don't even remember seeing this stuff. This is kind of cool. I'm gonna have to check out Wildcats again, featured as well as antagonists, but dropped quickly. The Charest leaving the monthly comic format to work on French Metrobon's graphic novel called Death Shot. Wow, this is crazy. So in that era, you had like Jim Lee really wasn't over Wildcats like that anymore, man. Because once you get bought by DC Comics, they're kind of telling you what to do. So you have to ask yourself, do you want to be part of that crap? Do you want somebody telling you what to do? You want somebody being your boss? Hey, welcome to, hey, Joseph, how you doing? Welcome from Colombia, man. Appreciate you joining me. You know what I'm saying? Be sure to share, like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. Welcome to another episode of Sanusi Life. You know what I'm saying? My name is Adewale Agboke, episode number 232. Can you believe that? 232 episodes of my podcast. That's totally tremendous and amazing. You know what I mean? So y'all, that's where we're at, man. I've had a lot of fun doing my thing right here. I'm grateful for what I've been able to do. So thank all of y'all, man, for joining me tonight. Now look, I'm also watching the NFL game, Baltimore Ravens versus the Bengals at the same time too. So look, y'all, now in 2002, Wildcats 3.0, the third series, Wildcats version 3.0, was part of the Matures Readers Iceborne. Like, it literally had, because I'm gonna save this part for the comic series because I gotta save it. So you had Wildcats 2.0 and 3.0 in 2002. Then you had Wildcats Nemesis in 2005. Wildcats Volume 3 in 2006, Wildcats Volume 4 in 2008, Wildcats Volume 2 in 2022. So you're telling me between 2008 and 2022 there was nothing Wildcats. But once again, I'm telling y'all again, this is what happens when you get bought by a corporation. They don't prioritize a creation. So for me, I'm never going to join forces with like Marvel, DC. I don't want nothing to do with them. I'm not one of these artists that doesn't have independent thoughts or independent thinking. No, I'm very independent thinking. Like I told y'all, I've stopped putting all these individuals that I used to read their comics as a kid like on a pedestal, man, because when you meet them, they just are not that impressive. They are some simple motherfuckers, pardon my English. I mean, I've met the ones that I met that created X-Men. I'm just like, man, you getting pimped and the company's getting all the money. What are you getting out of it? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just they're a bunch of suckers, man. You know what I mean? And so when you don't own anything, what you gonna do? Nothing. This is why, like, even such a simple thing as me doing my own podcast. One of the reasons why I haven't quit is because I'm having success. Why would I quit? What's there to quit for? Just because sometimes you get one person show up or 100 people show up, I don't care. None of that moves me at all. So, you know, being a creator, you have to create your own creations and own your creations and don't let nobody tell you how to go about it. You know what I'm saying? My podcast, I do it every week. And I've grown my channel exponentially. Yo, I'm approaching 1,300 subscribers. This year alone, I've picked up 1,000 subscribers. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? I can only imagine what I'm going to do next year. So, y'all, that's the history of Wildcats, man. You know what I'm saying? So now, next up is the characters and their abilities. Man, this is the coolest thing ever because each character I'm going to go through it detail by detail so y'all can see what's up. You know what I'm saying? So, look, I'm going to go with the one I remember, right? Which was Wildcats Covert.Actions.Teams. So, look, check this out. First character is Spartan, right? And look, I'm going to use my, I'm actually going to use my original drawing that I did to break it down. Actually, no, we ain't got to do that. For all of y'all who love posters, let me show you the poster. It's available on my website, Sanusi.com, right here. Wildcats. Go get a copy of it today for yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? Get a copy. Wildcats, baby. Now look, let's talk about the first character. For all you wondering, that's Spartan right there. See that guy I'm pointing towards? That's Spartan right there, leader of the Wildcats. So let's break him down. So Spartan, aka Jack Marlowe, originally Hadrian 7, originally intended to be a highly sophisticated highly sophisticated cyborg who could die or easily be downloaded to another body. Spartan's character has been revived several times. Spartan was one of the many Spartan series androids made in Carrier, modeled after the Caribbean hero Yon Cole, who go on to known Earth as John Colt. After Colt's apparent death in battle, Jacob Marlowe implanted some of Colt's memories and personality into Spartan's body. Literally is what happened in the cartoon series when I was watching it. Additionally, Jacob had scientists design Spartan's artificial intelligence, knowing the scientists would model it after his deceased son-in-law. Spartan had something of an on and on again relationship with voodoo. Eventually, Colt's memories and personality returned, and for some time, Spartan considered himself to be John Colt, while another Spartan unit without Colt's memories would go on to be activated, and John Colt would leave the team. Eventually, the Colt personality receded after M's death. Spartan assumed the identity of Jack Marlowe, Jacob's nephew, and became the CEO of Halo. Later still, he absorbed Void's powers, making him one of the most powerful beings in the Wildstorm universe. Jack went on to turn away from the role of superhero, attempting to make the world a better place by introducing highly advanced carrier technology into human society. At some point, he lost Void's powers. Spartan went to propose to Voodoo in Carrier. Wait, I thought Voodoo, if I remember the same Voodoo, she's a sister on the cartoon series, is what I remember. Man, these make me laugh with these cartoon series, boy. All of Spartan's body's possess superhuman strength, durability, and capable of flight, generating plasma blasts and interfacing with electronic systems throughout the parts of his body. So that's all his powers, right? So his powers are he can fly, superhuman strength, durability, and able to generate plasma blasts from his hands, interfacing with electronic systems throughout the parts of his body. You know what I'm saying? Spartan was the leader of the team, but let me tell you, the most popular character on the team was Grifter. That's not even close to as far as popularity. Grifter was the most popular character on this cartoon series. And thank all of y'all for joining me tonight. Be sure to share, like, subscribe, and hit the notification button as y'all are coming in and out. It's all good. Some of y'all are staying, some of y'all are going, man. I ain't losing no sleep over it. You know what I'm saying? Look, check this out. Next up is Grifter, Cold Cash. Oh yeah, I love Grifter, man. Grifter is that dude, boy. Look, this is Grifter right here. That's Grifter right there. Yep, that's Grifter right there. Oh, Grifter was that dude. You know what I'm saying? Man, Grifter was that dude. So Grifter, let me break him down, aka Cole Cash, a former government operative and member of Team 7. Grifter is a skilled marksman and hand-to-hand combatant, found by Zealot after gaining Gen active psychic abilities as a result of Team 7's exposure to Gen Factor. Zealot helped him recover from the ordeal and taught him how to completely remove his power, as well as bring him back to will. Zealot also trained him in Coda combat techniques, making him the only man ever trained in Coda. You know, Zealot shouldn't have done that, because the Coda don't play that. That's strictly a woman thing. He was the only member of the original team not to use any active post-human powers. Grifter left the team for the first time after Jacob made a pact with Hightower, the man responsible for killing Cole's friend Lonely, leading to his time as a solo agent, chronicled into his 2 ongoing series. Eventually rejoined the Wildcats. Over the years, as team would reform and disband many series, Cole maintained his ties to Halo and his teams, particularly Jack Marlowe. Grifter sustained several injuries to his legs during the mission and went on to use wheelchair for some time, eventually using Lady Tron's robotic body as a remote-controlled stand in the field. Grifter's powers eventually healed his legs, allowing him to walk once again. Grifter, when I watched the cartoon, Grifter had no powers. In fact, he was the only dude on the team that had no powers. He was just a normal human. But he was a marksman, though. He never missed, man. Grifter was cool as hell. Y'all, Grifter was that dude. When I used to watch his cartoon, I was like, yo, Grifter, you know how like you always watch a cartoon? Kind of like watching X-Men or Avengers? Man, you be like, yo, Grifter that dude. You be like Iron Man that dude. You like Wolverine that dude. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it was like for me, man. You know what I mean? Next up is Zealot, man. Let me break down Zealot. Zealot. This is Zealot right here. She's a bad, man, Zealot is the truth in 2 quarters. That's Zealot right there, boy. She don't play, boy. Zealot, what? Probably most high skill. She's, without question, the best skill fighter on the team. There's no question who the best fighter on the team is. It's got to be Zealot. You know what I'm saying? AKA Lady Zena. A Caribbean and a Coda warrior, Zealot is a former Majestics of Coda, helped develop their virtues and practices. She lived for thousands of years and has had many relationships with both humans and aliens alike. In Kera, Zealot was ordered to breed with Majestros, which she did, resulting in the birth of Savants. However, since bearing a child would change Zealot's social standing and ensure she would never be a warrior again, Zealot's mother, Harmony, convinced her to lie to everyone that the child was stillborn, while Harmony pretended that the child was in fact hers. The child was named Kensha and raised as Zealot's sister. Through Kensha would become best known by the name Savant. Zealot left the Coda believing they did not follow the Order's true precepts, and she would go on to fight against Coda on multiple occasions. She sure did. I watched episodes where she did that. She was part of the Team 1 under the alias Lucy Blaze. Zealot was once in a romantic relationship with Grifter, and the two went on to have various flings over the years. Zealot left the Wildcats and briefly joined Department PS and co-led Wild Corps with Backlash, a half-carrion and former member of Team 7. In later years, Zealot faked her own death and began hunting Coda on her own before being brought back to the Wildcats. Yeah, so in the cartoon, I know Zealot and Grifter were a thing. You know what I'm saying? That much I do remember the cartoon, man. That was pretty freaking cool, man. Zealot, oh my gosh, she the truth, man. She the truth. You know what I'm saying? Next up is Voodoo, the only sister in the cartoon, the only African American in the cartoon. Let me tell you, that's one thing, boy. DC did a shitty job of, boy, being diverse. Diversity was not a cup of tea. That's Voodoo right there. She's mental power, telepathic powers, and all kinds of stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's Voodoo. And before I forget, Zealot's powers included hand-to-hand combatants, if you could call that a skill, agility, guile, and stealth. Zealot had no equal when it comes to fighting, man. She was just a monster. You know what I'm saying? Her swordswomanship was, oh my Lord have mercy. Zealot was, man. Zealot really inspired my character, Sincere, or my characters, the Carjack for Assassin's universe, because she really helped me to create an amazing character that would actually go on to be like total badass. You know what I'm saying? So thank all of you for joining. Be sure to share, like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. And thank all of y'all that come in and coming out, man. Appreciate all of y'all. Some of y'all are here, some of y'all are not, man. I ain't losing no sleep over that, man. You know what I mean? I stopped caring about that a long time ago. Thank y'all for joining me. So look, next up is the character Voodoo. Voodoo is Priscilla Caton, a telepathic human Caribbean Daemonite hybrid ancestry. So she's both. You know what I'm saying? Voodoo has the ability to see Daemonites who have possessed other beings and remove them from their bodies they have possessed. Voodoo was an exotic dancer. Really? I'm not even gonna bother reading that. She was late. I'm not gonna. Voodoo's job. I'm not. See, this is some of the stuff that gets on my nerves when they create African American characters. They need to belittle you. Why the hell does she have to be an exotic dancer? That basically means she was a damn stripper. You create the only African American character on the cartoon and you have to make her into a stripper? What the hell is wrong with you people, man? Boy, DC, y'all some stupid motherfuckers. And no disrespect to Jim Lee, but what the fuck were you thinking? One African American character, and the best thing you could do is an exotic dancer? What the hell does that mean? It's funny how cartoon universe has always seen African American characters. This is what led to the creation of Cards of Assassins. Like, I don't have to deal with that crap anymore. You know what I'm saying? I've got my own characters. They have their background. Ain't gonna be none of this stupid stereotypical nonsense. You know what I'm saying? I've just grown tired of it, man. But let's go on to talk about the rest of Voodoo. So she was later trained by Zealot in the combat and developed an attraction to Spartan. I thought her and Maul were dating. Nah, it's just confusing, man. You know what I mean? It eventually revealed that one of her ancestors was the result of an attempt to splice Caribbean with body of a Daemonite. When the Wildcats went to Kira, Priscilla discovered that Caribbean Daemonite War had ended centuries prior and was treated as a second-class citizen due to her Daemonite ancestry. Delusioned with the Wildcats and particularly with the Zealots and Imp, Press left the team, journeying to New Orleans, where she studied voodoo magic. Voodoo briefly returned to the Wildcats, although the team would go on to be disbanded and reformed, and ultimately, after Zealot's apparent death, the team's members went their separate ways for what appeared to be the last time. Priscilla, eventually Voodoo, moved in with former teammate Jeremy Stone. Priscilla was targeted by post-human serial killer Samuel Smith, who used his powers to sever both of her legs, damn, and injure her throat. Priscilla was contacted by relivant Daemonites, considered to be a conscientious objector to Caribbean Daemonite War, who helps her to hone her hetero-unknown healing and time dilation powers, allowing Pris to regrow her legs. She went on to date Jeremy, though they eventually broke up. Pris joined, you know, comic series stuff, they always dating people and not dating people, man. This shit always makes me laugh. Pris rejoined the Wildcats after Armageddon event, soon became romantically involved with Spartan once again. Spartan eventually proposed to her. Aside from her telepathic and healing time dilation powers, Voodoo is an empath capable of sensing people's emotions and has trained in the use of voodoo magic, being able to communicate with and raise the dead. Though the first time she attempted that latter, she found herself rapidly drained. Yeah, so you know that's voodoo right there. Voodoo, I don't know, man. The way they treated her in the cartoon, I always thought they made her look weak, man. Especially being the only sister on the damn thing, I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna fly. You feel me? Like, y'all need to get right and get this thing together. But that's all good, though. Now, next up is Maul. Maul, man. Maul is the big dude on the team. This dude right here, boy. That's Maul right there. You see Maul right there? Yes, sir. That's Maul right there. Maul is the big dude on the team. He's able to grow in size. He just was that dude. You know what I'm saying? So, look, Maul, a.k.a. Jeremy Stone. I told y'all he jaded Jeremy Stone. So, Jeremy Stone is Maul. That made no sense. That's more likely. So, maybe they did have... I know that both characters were voiced by African Americans. You know what I'm saying? But as far as two African Americans in the cartoon, I guess you could call it that. It's kind of like watching Thundercats. Everybody knew Panther was a brother. You know what I'm saying? So Maul, a.k.a. Jeremy Stone, a scientist and human titan-throwth hybrid capable of increasing his size and mass at the cost of his reasoning capability. He eventually discovered he could increase his intelligence by decreasing his body mass. But this proved to be physically depleting. Yeah, Maul was the strong guy on the team. Maul would like grow into like as tall as a 90-foot building, man. bigger than a freaking T-Rex, man, and strong as hell. What? Yeah, Maul was cool as hell. I'm going to show you the cartoon intro, but Maul was, and I'm also going to try to show you a cartoon episode when I go to the cartoon side of things, when I get to the comics, but Maul was that dude, man. And thank all of you for joining me tonight. Welcome to another episode of Sanusi Life. My name is Adewale Agboke Jr. This is episode number 232. We're focusing on today the Wildcats, a cartoon series from the 1990s. Yes, Wildcats. I don't know how you never seen this thing, man. But hey, welcome to the chat, y'all. So thank all of y'all for joining me. So yo, that's Maul right there. You know what I'm saying? Next up is Warblade, my second favorite character on the Wildcats, aka Reno Bryce. Yo, Warblade, man. Oh my God. Warblade was that dude. That's Warblade right there, y'all, in dead center. That's Warblade right there. War motherfucking blade, man. Warblade. That's right. You know what I'm saying? So he over there like aka Reno Bryce, man. Warblade had claws like he organic steel. He could grow and then cut you up with them. Man, Warblade was that dude. So let me break him down. Warblade, a humanoid Caribbean hybrid, a member of the excuse me, y'all. Yeah, that's yeah, my drawing is better than that one. Warblade, a human Caribbean hybrid, a member of the Shepherd's Grill. Warblade can transform his body into liquid metal, shape himself into a variety of bladed weapons and sharp objects, as well as withstand intense trauma, including massive explosions, exposure to intense heat. Warblade is also an accomplished martial artist. Although a virtual killing machine, Reno also has the soul of an artist, having his sculpted work displayed in major art galleries. While Reno stayed away from Wildcats for a while, he returned to the team after the Armageddon event. I remember watching Warblade on the cartoon series. Like, they had to hunt him down, and then it was only because of Grifter that I think he joined the team. Or was it Zealot? I know somebody had to talk him into do it, because like, yo, I'm just the artist trying to do my thing, man. Y'all get the hell away from me, man. And the cartoon series was amazing. If you've never seen Wildcats, please go onto YouTube and type in Wildcats. You will find some cool stuff. Some really, really, really cool stuff. And then also too, you know what I'm saying? Warblade was, oh my God, Warblade was a cool character, man. It makes me reminisce on how cool cartoons were in the 1990s, man. I know they ain't what they used to be, boy, let me tell you. So next up is Void. Void is the telepath on the team. She's like a computer that actually looks like a human being. You know what I'm saying? Void Adriana Teshrashova. She has the ability to see the future and teleport herself and others to anywhere on Earth due to absorbing an orb of power. Over time, Void grew distance from humanity, and the part of her spirit that was Adriana moved on to the afterlife. Man, I never even knew that. The Void entity existed without any host for a short time until Noor sabotaged voyage to another dimension, resulting in Void entity disintegrating. Jack Marlowe went on to absorb Void's powers before he bonded with a paramedic, Nicola Henson. So Void became like a computer for Marlowe, man, for the Wildcats at Halo. And so she's the brain computer at Halo. That's what I remember her to be. But look, I'm going to show you the cartoon. Now look, Hellspawn is the only thing I want to mention. There's other characters like Majestic. Savant is important because she's the daughter of Majestic and Zealot. Condition Red. Carl. Let me see who else. Man, I gotta show y'all the Daemonites, man. You know what I'm saying? Look, man, I gotta. Okay. Let's see if I can find the Daemonites. If they even let me talk about the Daemonites. So Nemesis crew, you got Desmond, you got Hellspawn. So the villains included Nemesis, Daemon, Hellspawn. I'm surprised they ain't talking about no Hellspawn, man. Unbelievable. Yeah, there we go. So Lord Hellspawn, for all you wondering who that is, this is Lord Hellspawn. Oh, this is pretty cool. Look, let me turn this around so y'all can see it. That's Hellspawn right there. You know what I'm saying? That's Hellspawn right there. I thought people would show Wildcats some love, but y'all are some haters. Lord Hellspawn, long-standing enemy and bitterest rival to the Carrion sanctioned Wildcats, the Demon Royal would offer his services in aid against the Sharps Guild for his own agendas. Lord Hellspawn was a ruthless overlord, man. That man was all kinds of mess. That Lord Hellspawn was a ruthless overlord. He didn't care. And he had other cats under him. Desmond, Nemesis, a quarter warrior who was kind of like Lord Hellspawn's general. I'm trying to think. That Lord Hellspawn, the cartoon, to be honest with you, the cartoon never really allowed you to build up on all the other characters. Lord Hellspawn was the main focus as far as villains, man. You know what I mean? So all of y'all who joining me, all of y'all who not joining me, thanks for being around, thanks for not being around. Appreciate all of y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, thank y'all for joining me. Be sure to share, like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. I ain't too much worried about that, man. So y'all, that's what's up right there. So that's all the characters and the abilities. And I think Lord Hellspawn could shoot beams out of his hand, and he could burn you with the demon fire that was his head. So of course there was Desmond, Lady Harmony. So Desmond was a longtime psychic and child genius, aide to Magistros. Lady Harmony, a high priestess of the Caribbean Coda sector known as Skin and Mother of Zealots, Imperator, rival Caribbean lord and advocate of the House of Call on Pantheon, aiding Harmony and her forces to stand against the rogue Sharp section's incursion of Earth. His true goal was to take Sharp's engine in the name of his family lord over the failing Kira. So Lord Hellspawn was Nemesis, was a Coda warrior and former lover of Majestic, having been framed by Raven and Brotherhood of Blade, who collaborated with Line Mike Demonites to overthrow their masters back home to conquer the galaxy. She would be hunted and aided by former compatriots as a traitor to Carrion War efforts of eons still till modern day, when Brotherhood began their assault, transforming humans into post-human warriors for their cause. I mean, that's all the characters, man. So thank y'all for joining me. Now look, let's go to comics and animation, because comics is what made Wildcats, well, what Wildcats is. So thank y'all for joining me. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe, and hit the notification button. So look, Wildcats, and there's still more characters, but I'm not about to get into that, man. Hell no. You know what I'm saying? Look, check this out. Wildcats started, and what I explained to y'all was more of a Halo team. Wildcats was a mainly a comic history thing. Well, so it all started in 1992, as I told y'all. And thank all of you for joining me. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe to the channel, man. You know what I'm saying? Our goal is to get to 1,300 subscribers, and we're talking about Wildcats today. So some of y'all, if you know you're gonna come in and out like a little bitch, don't come onto my show. I can't stand people like that. They be here for 2 seconds and they leave. Like, you're an asshole. What, you expecting some white guy to talk about Wildcats? Fuck you. Yeah, that's one thing I'm not ashamed of saying. You put people on blast, man. People are some bitches, boy. Some straight up B words. So y'all, back to Wildcats, man. You know what I'm saying? Look, Volume 1, 1992. That's when the whole thing jumped up for Wildcats. So we're talking about 30 years of comics in terms of animation, comics. I mean, I've already read you Volume 1 when I was talking about it in the history. But there was other things, excuse me, that you didn't know. So Volume 1, it all started with Jim Lee and his friend Brandon Cho. But once they sold the rights to DC, they kind of like gave up a lot of power. So almost all the characters were a spin-off into their own series. Zealot featured in a series by Ron Martz, Spartan in one by Kurt Brenswink, Warblade sharing another series with Cyberforce. That was it, really. Voodoo and Maul never really got a series. I think they might have, but I don't remember they getting the comic series. But then 1999, after the first series cancellation, Wildstorm, well, I've already read you that. Wildstorm came out in Volume 1, 1999. They created a series, and then this series, Jim Lee wasn't really the focal creator. It was other individuals such as Joe Casey, Sean Phillips, you know what I'm saying? Because took over the Wildcats, and they quickly dealt away with Kenyon, while Void and ended up having Spartan absorb their assets. It was just like they were basically like redoing or rebranding Wildcats. And so part of like when you create a comic series or when you do a comic, especially like Wildcats, you're just doing whatever, man. And I think they were just doing whatever, but this is not uncommon of DC Comics to take on something and then ruin it. Till today, I cannot understand how Wildcats is part of DC Comics, and we haven't. There should be a cartoon, there should be a movie, there should be something. But nothing really happened. Warblade's feature was so each character was getting a series, but Warblade, to be honest with y'all, was featured briefly, last seen in the Wildcats 2000 annual that brought back the dead version of Code Red. Like even Warblade, as popular as he was, they wasn't really writing nothing about him. You know what I mean? And then Wildcats, so Jim Lee started in 1992. Him and his friend Brandon Cho created a series, but once they sold the rights to Wildcats DC Comics, man, the comics just started going down and down and down because they don't prioritize it. They just, it's like they acquired something just so they can take it off the board and block it from growing. Yes, Wildcats went from 1992 to 2022, 30 years. They should still be going right now. You know what I'm saying? So the comic series, and the comics is really what made Wildcats what it is. So, you know, like I told y'all, publication history, the first issue of the Emperor's comic book Wildcats Covert.Actions.Teams published in 1992 by Image Comics. It was an Image founding partner, Jim Lee's first work published by the newly launched company and his first co-created project. This became the starting point for Jim Lee's marginary interconnected superhero creations, which became the foundation of Wildstorm universe. Right? So in 1992, the first comic series comes out. Excuse me, y'all. Launched as an original Image comic book by Jim Lee. Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the chat. My Aunt Sophie. Hey, how you doing? So what? I'm talking about Wildcats, man. Wildcats is an awesome cartoon that came from the 1990s. Part of the hybrid of comic books that became cartoons, really. Wildcats, some of y'all know about it, some of y'all don't. You know what I mean? But while you're talking, look, if you're going to be talking, I might not be able to answer you. So because I'm going into the episode. I'm not trying to delay the podcast episode. But this is Wildcats right here. Cartoon series. You know what I'm saying? That's really what inspired me. I'm more interested in Wildcats because it's a cartoon. Because I'm an animator. I love cartoons. And also, too, I have my own comic book series right now out. Carjack Assassins Training Day comic book. My first official comic book. So I'm proud of that, man. But I'm going to talk about that later, man. You know what I mean? But the Wildcats, man. So you got, thank you for joining me. Appreciate all of y'all who are joining me. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe. And be sure to comment, too. Throw in comments, man. I see it as I see it. You know what I mean? So Wildcats in 1992, that's where it started. And then, of course, Jim Lee devoted his time to it just started where Jim Lee was less involved in Wildcats, and then it was other people that were working on it. Yeah, that's what they do, man. They always, whenever these companies get their hands on a comic series or cartoon series, the first thing they do is cancel it. And I think that's intentional. That's just me. You know what I mean? So the volumes that the Wildcats had, Wildcats Volume 1, 1992. You know what I'm saying? It featured a lot of different artists, but you could see that they were starting to veer away from what they were doing. But being that it was the original, the launch, okay, I'm gonna read Volume 2 and then everything else I'm not reading it. Launched as the original Image comic book by Jim Lee and his friend Brandon Choi, the comic book's premise revolved around centuries-long war between aliens called Caribbean and Demonites. Caribbean was a nearly immortal humanoid series with exceptional powers and skills, traveled to Earth and by breeding with humans populated the planet with half-breeds. Demonites, besides having fearsome appearance, also possess various superhuman abilities, including body possession, mental control over human beings. The initial arc brought voodoo over the team as readers' point of view character Hellspawn, who was the main villain, Demonite warlord, taking control of Vice President Dan Quayle. Rob Lofield's Youngblood co-starred in closing chapters of the arc. Wildcat's story continued in three-part miniseries penciled by Jay Lee that introduced Demonite Lord Hightower, Jim Lee, and Mark Salisbury. Proceeded to publish a Killer Instinct crossover detailing Warblade's connection to Marsevery Cyber Force. Jim Lee devoted his time to coming up with new concepts, Gen 13, Death Blow, Stormwatch book. Before he left the book, he did the 4-issue Gathering of the Eagles storyline written by his Uncanny X-Men writer Claes Cremont. It featured a new villain, Taskberry, and added characters of Majestic, Savant, and Soldier. Featured Claremont's co-created character, Huntsman. Sorry, y'all. I'm in a different time zone. I'm not telling you that. Sorry. That ain't happening. I don't tell nobody where I live at. But, yo, I'm in a different time zone. That much I will tell you. Let's see. Almost all the characters were spun off into their own miniseries. Zealot featured in the series Ron Motz, Terry Shoemaker, Spartan in one by Kurt Busiek, Mark McCone, Warblade, sharing another with Cyberforce Ripclaw. Grifters starred in the Kindred's limited series. Kindred limited series. Cyberforce. Yeah, Warblade was part of a group. Ripclaw. Spartan was, and then of course, Kendrick's limited series with Stormwatch's Backlash by Brett Booth that led to the later's ongoing title, as well as another Youngbloods Bradrock, Billy Shee. Let's see, and Zealot. So basically, Zealot. Yeah. She's a character created by Billy Tookits, and then even Dark Horse's Mask. So James Brett Robinson wrote a handful of issues as well as the team's one-stop watch Wildcats miniseries detailing the past of the Wildstorm universe. Would go on to write Wildcats' first annual. The title also participated in Wildcats-oriented Wildstorm Rising crossover. Oh, this was cool. Look, let me show you. They brought it back, you know what I'm saying? And look, for all of y'all who are wondering what Wildcats originally looked like, that's it right there. Y'all see? That's what's up right there. You know what I mean? Wildcats is one of those great cartoons that nobody knows about. But you kind of know about it, but you kind of don't. You know what I'm saying? So James Robinson, the title also participated in Wildcats-oriented Wildstorm crossover and Heroes Daemonite Battleship, which turned out to be carrier ship instead of a Wildcat, eventually leaving Carrier. Following Grifter, one short, the crossover gave birth to a short-lived Grifter series written by Steven S.T. Seagal that centered on his super spy superhero adventures while linking to obscure Team 1 character region. So yeah, man, it's like, and then Alan Moore took over writing duties, proceed to tell a tale of split between Savant and Majestic's replacement team on Earth and the original team joining to Kara. The Caribbean had won the Daemonite Caribbean War while living in prosperity. As parents were deceiving, however, it was apparent that the planet was run by power-hungry politicians who had ruthlessly subjugated the Daemonites as second-class citizens. Voodoo, with her Daemonite blood, experienced the first time Maul's race was also treated unjustly, though Emp and Zealot were seduced by promises of power and recognition. Spartan discovered the truth about Kara's corrupt leaders. It took the death of one of Maul's race for Wildcats to leave and head back to Earth. Voodoo and Emp both left the team, while remainder joined the Savant and Majestic's new team. Moore also participated in Fire from Heaven, a fairly continually heavy crossover and resolved plot lines regarding Team 1, Team 2, and Caravan. Alan Moore, Mike Lopez, and Alan Rio spawned Voodoo off the 4-issue miniseries Dealt of Voodoo Magic, while Moore also wrote a time-traveling Wildcat Spawn crossover series, Scott Clark. At the time, Grifter had another turn at an ongoing series, this time written by Steve Grant and drawn by Mel Ruby. Michael Ryan, while Zealot was featured in Backlash spin-off, Wild Core. That stuff is wild. Look, check this out, y'all. Yeah, comics for days, man. It was just creating one comic after the other. Some things are just featured on comics. Barbara Randall Kenzo, Pascal Reach. So now I'm going to talk about the cartoon soon. And Carlos Darren, the crafted two-part storyline in effect wrote Majestic Savants Lady Draught Team and sent up the spin-off Savants written by Randall Cresswell. Original scriptwriter Brandon Cho returned alongside Jonathan Pedersen and artists Matt Broom and Ed Baines for storyline with organization canceled Puritans as main titles. The Puritans' goal was to eradicate the Caribbean and Demonites on Earth by traveling back in time and erasing, killing them before the aliens could influence global events. A new lineup of Wildcats traveled in time to stop the Puritans, had various adventures throughout the different time periods. Y'all, that's what's up right there, man. You know what I mean? That's what's going on with the Wildcats, man. Hey, I ain't losing no sleep, man. People come and go. I ain't losing no sleep over that. So y'all, that's the, and then the various volumes I'm going to break down to you. They had more volumes. Wildcats Volume 1, 1999. Wildcats 3.0, 2002. And then Wildcats Nemesis 2005. And then Wildcats Volume 3, 2006. And then Wildcats Volume 2008, which debuted a new ongoing Wildcats series written by Christos Gage and penciled by New Gorge. Wildcats Volume 3, 2006, in part was a Wildstorm line event. The title Restarted, written by Grant Morrison and drawn by Jim Lee. The team consisted of Spartan, Mr. Majestic, Zealots, Grifter, Voodoo, Savant, and Lady Tron. Warblade is on a secret mission and Maul has retired to his civilian identity. Kaizen Gora returned. So they were just having different, and then of course the last one, which was sad, in November 2022, cover date January 2023, DC debuted Wildcats Volume 2. DC debuted Wildcats Volume 2 to feature the same abbreviated stylization in the title as the first series in 1992, written by Matthew Rosenberg and illustrated by Steven Segovia. It sees Grifter working for Halo Corporation to assemble the group of operatives to embark upon missions in the outskirts of DC Universe. Its first task is to round up an elite group of scientists, which puts the group into conflict with scientist mysterious leader Void. The team also comes into conflict with a shadow organization called Court of Owls. DC was just making a mess, man. That's just what DC does. I ain't really surprised by that. You know what I mean? So that's the old comic universe right there. Now, next up is the animation series part right there. Now, I'm gonna show you the cartoon intro, and then I'm gonna show you some other cartoon stuff from Wildcats. You know I'm gonna do that, man. What? Look, check this out. I'm about to flip the camera on y'all. Check this out. Wildcats cartoon intro, man. Check this out. Now look, what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna show you more Wildcats cartoons. You know what I'm saying? It's how I watched it, man. Let me see if I can find Wildcats cartoon intro. Wildcats animation. I might be able to find something. Shoot. Maybe I'll show you full episodes, man. What? I think I might have found something. Shoot. Man. God, I hate commercials. Let me skip this garbage. Yo, watch this. I'm gonna see if I can show y'all episodes. Let's see if we can't get a. I just want y'all to see some parts of the cartoon.
Who are those guys?
Yo, that's Warblade right there, man. What? Shoot.
And our roster is nearly complete. Void is located and aware of for several months.
Look, y'all, I gotta flip it. So there it is. But that's the cartoon I was talking about, man. You know what I mean? That's Wildcats, man. Look, if you haven't watched it, please go on YouTube. All you gotta do is type in Wildcats. You will see all kinds of awesomeness. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so you don't have to get off there, because of rights and all that yada stuff. But y'all be sure to go check out Wildcats, man. Are you kidding me? It's one of the coolest cartoons you will ever watch. You know what I mean? Thank y'all for joining me. So now look, that's everything about the Wildcats, man. Now the last thing I always talk about, well, two things. One, getting your mind right, man. It's good to be healthy. It's great to be healthy nowadays, especially, man. As you well know, I've not hidden it. I have had therapy, and it has changed my life. Gives you confidence, gives you belief in yourself, which I've always had confidence. But you have less trauma, less anxiety, less just self-hate, man. And you gotta love yourself. So look, part of my episode, always when I go live on my podcast, I always talk about being mentally healthy. And I can't stress enough the importance of being mentally healthy. Don't let no one be an idiot tell you that, oh yeah, just deal with it. No, don't just deal with it. Get some help, man. You know what I mean? That's why I am where I am. Look at me being successful. I gotta tell you, 2025 has been quite the build. I've come a long way from what I used to be. I don't allow people to waste my time, use my time. You know what I'm saying? As of today, when I look into my journal, look, this is a journal right here that I have, which my therapist encouraged me to get. And my last therapy session was this year, May 7th, 2025. I've been great ever since. You know what I'm saying? Learned a lot from that stuff. I'm actually even reading a book too. And look, today is day number 913. Journal, day number 913, journal. And the journal teaches me to write what goes on in my day generally. And to be honest with y'all, this is journal number 10. This is the 10th journal I've ever had. Number 10. So I'm proud of myself in the terms of how I've managed to do what I've been able to do, the healthy state that I'm in. I'm building a universe, a great one at that. You know what I mean? Nobody showed up to vote, no problem. I ain't tripping. But you know, being part of, you've got to be mentally healthy, man, to get anywhere or to go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Take care of yourself, love yourself, and getting the help from if you work at a job, most of your job places allow you to have therapy sessions. So take in those therapy sessions. Go see your doctor, talk to them, say what's going on with you, man. Let them know what you're dealing with, because people deal with a lot, man, especially these days, financially, emotionally, spiritually, whatever you might be dealing with. But talk to somebody who cares. You know what I'm saying? Get that in and be that therapist as long as you can be there. I did mine for 2 years, man. Best thing that happened to me, man. It makes me to analyze everything that I've went through and be like, yeah, wow, I really went through some stuff. And it's not like you can change what's happened in the past. As Adrian James said, we live life forwards and we understand it backwards. Let me say it again. We live life forwards and we understand it backwards. I got that line from Adrian James, the great running back from the Indianapolis Colts, man. I was a big fan of his. And to hear that line, it was really motivating. So, you know, you have to really press yourself forward, man, and get the help you need so you can go for it. It's not okay to stay in a messed up state, man. Get some help and get you what you need. That's what these therapists for. And don't be dealing with none of these corporate therapists that you see on YouTube and shit. No, get you a private therapist, one that you can deal with one-on-one. These corporate therapists, man, they get on my damn nerves because all they want to do is make money off of you. They don't care to treat you. They're not trying to help you. All they want to just use you for the next thing they're going to go. You know what I'm saying? Next check they're going to get. So, yo, mental health is very important. Getting your mind right is important, man. I always stress that every episode when I go on my live podcast. Also, too, when I do my podcast with my boy Kimba, Cultural Capitalist Podcast, every Thursday. You know what I'm saying? Today we took a break because, you know, fatigue, and also, too, is the holiday. So, you know, just to give ourselves grace for just being successful. You know what I'm saying? But Wildcats, man, today, the reason why one of the reasons why I'm successful now is because of what I've chosen to do. Get myself help. Get myself help. Not be afraid of, like, understanding what is going on in my life and know who I am as a person, man. You know what I mean? I can't stress that enough. So, yo, get your mind right is vital, y'all. So, yo, that's what's up with the Get Your Mind Right segment today. It's important to know who you are, love yourself as you are, and appreciate yourself. I'm telling you, man, once you appreciate yourself, it's a whole different type of living you're doing, man. You're not a prisoner to the job. It's like my job. I told some guy my job. You do realize I don't need this job, right? You don't own me. So when you put people in check, man, there's a understanding of, like, they know you ain't messing around. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, that's what's up. That's what you get your mind right today. So now, something I always do last but not least, right? Final thoughts. Today I was talking about Wildcats. You know what I'm saying? The amazing animated series. Well, it went from a comic book series to a cartoon series, right? And so while it was going, you know what I mean? It became a comic series. Went from a comic series to an animated series. And this is Wildcats for all of y'all who are joining me. Thank you for joining me. Be sure to share, like, subscribe. Wildcats right here, man. You know what I'm saying? You got the great characters from it. Warblade, Zealot, Spartan, Maul, Voodoo, Grifter. You know what I'm saying? You know, Wildcats one of those cartoons that 1990s, it's a secret gem. But because DC bought it, they just straight up suppressed it. They gave it no time, no cartoon, no nothing. Can you imagine a movie of Wildcats today? But we are talking about DC Comics because they don't do nothing right. Their movies suck. The only thing I feel like DC does good is animated movies. Everything else is horse doodoo, man. You know what I mean? That's just what these cats are doing. Yeah, you know what's crazy, y'all? I'm seeing the score right now, and Baltimore's getting blasted, man. They are straight getting blasted. These dudes just a choke job. How many fumbles can you have in one game? Damn. They just choked away the season, man. They just choked away the season, y'all. Enough of that nonsense. You know what I mean? But yo, that's where it's at, man. Wildcats. And Wildcats is one of those cartoons that probably nobody ever talks about, but if you're a real cartoon follower, you definitely know that Wildcats is on the list, man. You know what I mean? They are on the list. Now, before I get up out of here too, there's something I always talk about, the cool products we do. Now, if you're a fan of Wildcats like me, if you happen to want one of my awesome art prints, go get you one of these right here, man. Available on soundvision.com. Let me pull this thing out. You see it? That's Wildcats right there. Go get your print of this. It's available. This is an 11 by 17 size poster. I make them. I still make them. Still draw it. It took me a long time to draw this. So if you want to support, go ahead and cop one of these right here on my website, soundvision.com. You know what I'm saying? Or you can Zelle me the money. That works too. And you can Zelle my company the money. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's where we at, man. Now, as far as other products that I want to talk about today, focus specifically on Cards of Assassins Training Day stuff. First of all, is the comics. If you're a fan of comics, you know what I'm saying? If you're a fan of comics, so if you're a fan of comics, what am I trying to do right here? If you're a fan of comics, you definitely want to check this out. Look, I've got a comic book out right now, Cards of Assassins Training Day. The best thing that I've created in a long time. And look, Cards of Assassins Training Day is the first coming out party for my Cards of Assassins comic series, right? Because I told you I'm going to create an animation series based on my characters, these characters right here. Now, this book is the first book in the comic series, Training Day. And I plan on releasing more comic books. But look, in the comic book series, I got two sides. You got the small and you've got the large. You got the small, which is a 7.5. You got the large, which is a 8.5. This is $100. This is $200. And as you can see the back of it, don't worry, I'm going to show it to you. Let you see, you can see there's a size difference right there. Yeah, that thing is huge. Then of course, when I open up the inside of the book, thank y'all for sharing. Oh, Barbie Savage, what's up, man? Happy holidays, Queen. How you doing, girl? Hope everything's good with you, man. I don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but if you do, happy Thanksgiving to you. It's been a minute. I hope you're doing well. I hope your health has gotten better. Hope everything's going good with you, man. It's been a blessed year, man. I'm grateful for what I have today, man. You know what I mean? I'm just coming to the end of the podcast episode. Girl, how you doing? Hope you've been good. And guess what? I don't know if you're a Twitch fan, but I'm now on Twitch too now. I use Twitch. I definitely use Twitch now. So you definitely got to check out the Twitch platform of mine. I actually might go on there right now once I get off this thing and go on Twitch right quick. You know what I mean? But yo, Cards of Assassins Training Day comic book available now on soundvision.com. You got the small, you got the big. You can tell there's a difference, man, in the size difference. Right now, when I created this comic book, this was the first one I created, and then I decided to create this one. You know what I mean? Hey, Barbie, I don't know if you've ever seen this cartoon, but this is what I'm talking about right here. Wildcats. This was my Sound Vision podcast episode today. Wildcats. You know what I'm saying? It's a cartoon from the 1990s. So it's good that you're doing good, man. But yo, it's Cards of Assassins Training Day comic book available now on soundvision.com. You got to go get your copy. Join the movement. Yes, I'm not going to cheapen myself. $100 for this, $200 for this right here. Yep. It's heat, man. It's straight up heat. And thanks all of y'all for voting tonight. Those of you who did vote. I try to put on a cool question. Now look, there's other stuff that I'm doing too. Aside from showing you that comic book, I got to show you the sneakers. And then I'm going to show you some apparel. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe I'll show you a dog hoodie or something. Look, my sneakers, my comic book got its own sneakers, right? Now there's two styles that I designed. This one is strictly for me because I'm the creator. And then the one I got on the website too on soundvision.com. Look at this right here. Cards of Assassins Training Day sneaker available now on soundvision.com. These are awesome sneakers that I'll be wearing to WonderCon earlier next year. You know what I'm saying? Cards of Assassins Training Day, man. Available now on soundvision.com. If you love cool sneakers, you got to go get you one of these right here. So, be sure to share, like, and subscribe, man. Yeah, thank you, Barbie. I work hard on these sneakers, man. I don't know if you've seen these. Because, yeah, I just got these. I made these to commemorate the comic book. So I don't think you've seen these. Last time I seen you has been a good minute. What, been like 2 months or something? It's people, fans of mine, y'all are in and out. But guess what else? Your boys at, how many subscribers I got now? I would say about almost 1,300. So 1,300 subscribers is where we're reaching at. Yep. This, you've never seen them. So look, on one foot, I've got the entire Carjacks team. Look at that. You got Sphinx, you got Cajun, you got Escalade, you got Sincere, you got Glocks. Let me put this shoe down so I can be able to break it down to y'all. Look, you got Sphinx, Cajun, Escalade, Sincere right there, Shepherd right there. You got Glocks, you got Rasputin, you got Seth again. Sphinx. You got Diesel, you got Shepherd, right? That's on the right foot, the Carjacks. Then on the left foot, guess what you got? You got Sun Tzu, you got Artillery, you got Panji, you got Revo, you got Excursion, you got Seth, you got Snipes right there, and then of course you got Yukon right there, then you got Excursion right there, you know what I'm saying? And you got Snipes right there. So yo, yeah, Bobby, man, girl, I went to work on this sneaker, man. I really went to work on it. I wanted it to be super detailed. It took it took like 3 weeks to design it. 3 weeks to design this sneaker, y'all. 3 weeks. And some of y'all wonder why I charge what I charge for my sneaker. This is a collector's edition. And this is the only one of it that I'm going to make because this one's for me. Now, for those who go on my website, you'll see a different style, a different version of it. But it's still a collector's edition. It's $500. Yeah, you heard what I said. $500. You know, I ain't got no problem saying one day I'm going to sell a sneaker for $1,000, $1 million. I ain't going to let no freeloading bum tell me what my price of my sneakers is going to be because I hear this all the time on my TikTok and my YouTube. Why your sneakers cost so much? My question is, why you so broke? You know what I'm saying? What, you expect the art to be free? You know, Bobby, these people out here, they out of their mind, man, thinking your stuff is going to be free. My stuff ain't free. I work hard for mine, you know what I mean? I work hard for mine. So, yo, Carjack Assassin Training Day sneakers. Now, look, let me get you more stuff because I want y'all to see it. Let's get some clothing. You feel me? Let's get some clothing up in here. So, look. Give me a second, y'all. I'm going to get you some clothing. Give me a second. I'm going to get you some clothing. Look, first on the docket is women's gear. Look, I'm making women's t-shirts now. Custom design women's t-shirts. As you can see, this is a women's t-shirt right here. Look, from top to bottom. You can see the sport leggings on her, right? You can see the purple sport leggings. You got Sincere the character on there right there. Look at that detail right there. Then you got the t-shirt. Carjack Assassins Training Day t-shirt. You see that right there? Look. Let me do this right here. Let me back up. It's just easier if I do like this, y'all. Y'all, I'm about to flip the camera. Let me flip the camera so you can see it. Look at this. Custom design, women's gear. This is a Carjack Assassins Training Day t-shirt, you know, because you know I got to promote my comic book. I got to, man. This is all the kind of cool t-shirts I'm making now. This is what they all look like. Quality detail, right? Then you see the t-shirt. You see the, look at the detail of the characters. The Asha logo. I'm coming in close so y'all can see what your boy be doing, man. You ain't going to see too many clothing styles like this, man. This is what I'm doing over here at Sound Vision, man. This is what I am doing. Look at this. And then look at the sport leggings. Look at this right here. I make leggings too now. I make leggings, ladies. So if you love leggings, ladies, you got to go get you one of these right here. You know what I mean? This is what we're doing over here at Sound Vision, man. Making cool gear. Making cool gear. Right? Look at this. That's the backside. Look. Let me do like this. Give me a second while I shift this thing over. This is what we're doing over here at Sound Vision. Look. All this cool stuff. This is the backside of it, the gear, right? This is what we're making. Look. See, look. This is what we're doing over here, man. Making cool gear. So that's sport leggings right there. Now, what I'm going to show y'all next. Look, what I'm going to show you next is the men's gear, right? Ooh, my bad. So look, this the men's gear. And look, before I do anything, because I don't want to get stuck. Yep. It's a lot of work, girl. Making everything blend is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So look, let me show y'all this right here. Look, check this out. This is the men's gear, because I got the men's gear too. We got t-shirts, and don't worry, I'm going to show you some bomber jackets and some puffer jackets. But this is the College of Assassins Training Day men's t-shirt right here. Look at this. This is the men's tee. It's a lot of same style, but just a men's tee with a round neck. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the sport leggings. Look at this. These are sport sweatpants. So I'm making sweatpants now too. You know what I'm saying? This is what your boy doing, man. We're making major things happen over here at Sound Vision, man. I cannot wait till next year, man. I'm gonna be going to a lot of comic expos, man. You see the cool stuff that I'm making? This is what your boy is doing, man. We making magic happen. That's right. We making magic happen, man. You know what I mean? So yo, that's everything right there. Now look, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna bring some more gear, right? I got puffer jackets. Y'all give me a second. Ooh. So look. First things first, bomber jackets, right? I know y'all can see the bomber jacket. Look at this. This is a College of Assassins Training Day bomber jacket to commemorate the College of Assassins Training Day universe. Look at how sick this is, man. This is what we're doing over here at Sound Vision, man. Major things right here, boy. These bomber jackets are collector's edition, so anybody can get these right here on the website. If you're a collector, if you're one of those whining crybabies, I ain't for you if you like cheap stuff. I'm for you if you love quality. You feel me? So College of Assassins Training Day bomber jacket, available now on soundvision.com, right? Then, so I don't forget, shoot, we even do sweaters. You know what I'm saying? We even do sweaters, man. Sweaters right here. So I'm just showing you some of the stuff we got. You know what I mean? Look at this. We got puffer jackets. Puffer jackets now available on soundvision.com. This one's quite popular. Every time I wear it to school, everybody's like, oh, that's the jump off. For whatever reason, people love this puffer jacket, man. People show it mad respect. But it lets me know how hard I've been working, and that my work that I've been doing is worth the time. You know what I'm saying? So College of Assassins Training Day, and then of course you got the Iron Man one. Look at this one right here. This one's pretty sick too. You know what I'm saying? This is also available on soundvision.com. You can get a copy of it. You can get you want something like this. This is my design, but the one I make for you is gonna be totally different. You know what I mean? And then I'm gonna show you one more piece of this is sweatpants right here. Available on soundvision.com. Look at this. These are super cool. Who don't like this right here? Look at this. This is sick, man. College of Assassins Training Day sweatpants. You know what I mean? So y'all be sure to share, like, and subscribe, man. Follow this channel. This is what we're doing over here. Sweatpants, man. And then if you love, what else have we got? We got one more sweatpants and then I'm out of here. I gotta go. I gotta get up early in the morning. Look right here. Tomorrow's gonna be Twitch day. That's what I'm gonna do. Look at this, man. Look at this. College of Assassins Training Day sweatpants. See all the characters from the College of Assassins universe right here. Straight beast mode, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Man, this is what we're doing over at Sound Vision, man. So this is what I'm doing, man. Look at all this cool gear. So if you love cool gear, you gotta go to soundvision.com to get you something. You know what I mean? And no, my stuff is not free. You actually have to pay for it. Yeah, me too, man. I gotta be up early. So yo, look, I'm about to say my final thoughts and get up out of here, man. You know what I mean? But thank all of y'all for joining me on the podcast tonight. Look, let me get out of here and thank my sponsors right quick before I go to sleep. So y'all, look, check this out. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. It's been an amazing episode, another awesome episode of Sound Vision Out Life. Y'all be sure to check it out. So thank y'all for joining me tonight, man. You know what I'm saying? This, thank you for listening, being part of the podcast tonight. It was an amazing episode. Wildcats was the show, was the episode tonight. Be sure to, yeah, people be asking if it's free, man. Yeah, people do that. They some idiots. They some really stupid people. They some bums, man. That's the only way I can really explain it, man. I can't be bothered to try to like understand people's thoughts and complexities, but I could care less anymore, man. You know what I mean? They just some idiots. I got things to do. So look, check this out, y'all. Thank y'all for listening, man. This podcast is produced. This Sanuvision podcast, Sanuvision Art Life podcast, is produced and written by yours truly. Produced, written, and directed by me, Adewale Booker Jr. Please check out my website at sanuvision.com for all the cool stuff that I got. From bomber jackets to journals to comic books to sneakers. You know what I'm saying? Carjack Assassins, man. Yep. It's what they do, man. So, you know what I'm saying? Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, too. Good night, Bobby Savage. Take it easy, girl. Blessings and peace. You know what I mean? I'm about to be out of here myself. You know what I mean? But, yo, subscribe to the channel. Grow the channel. Hit the likes button. Hit the subscribe button. Because when you do that, it grows my channel. Not to mention, this is where every single podcast episode that I do is on now. I go live with my podcast every Sunday. And also, too, sometimes with my Cultural Capitalist podcast with my boy, Kimba. So we come on here, too. And then not to mention the various live streams that I do to promote my products. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of work, but I'm here doing it. You know what I mean? And please, follow me on my social media platforms. That's YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, X, Instagram. And now I'm using Twitch, too. Yes, that's right. You heard what I said. Hey, Bobby Savage, make sure you check out my Twitch platform. I'll be on there tomorrow. I'm on Twitch now. So I'm on Twitch now. I'm using my Twitch. Definitely going to use the Twitch, man. Definitely got to use it. You know what I mean? And please, you know, as an artist, and I say this to artists all the time, you whining and crying like a little bitch don't mean no difference to me, because you've got too much opportunity for you to get out your brand instead of whining and waiting for somebody to find you. And that's probably one of my irritating things about artists. They get on my damn nerves. And me being an artist, I'm not about to give artists a pass for being a bunch of bitches. Yo, you got social media, man. Use the damn thing. Stop complaining about what people ain't doing for you. And go do for your damn self. Don't nobody owe you shit. You know what I'm saying? Make something of your life and go somewhere with your life and do something about it. Remember I told y'all in the beginning that a lot of artists that I watched their cartoon as a kid, and then when I met them in real life, I'm not really impressed. I'm really not impressed because they don't impress me. Like they just employees. They don't have no semblance of entrepreneurship, no ownership mentality, no equity mentality, no none of that. They're just simple as fuck, man. Pardon my English. So I can't get with that, man. So artists, when it comes to artists, I really don't deal with that many artists, man, because they're idiots. They're a bunch of weak little bitches. And all they do is cry about shit. And I ain't with that shit. Start your own business. Start your own company. I started my own company. Sanusi Vision is my company. My company. I even registered and trademarked it. Look at this. You see the R on my shirt? Registered trademark. It's a registered trademark company. I did that by myself. You know what I'm saying? So I always say that, man. Always do that. And look, there's two things I always say before I get up out of here. One, there's no success in skipping steps. The back of the line is just as important as the front of the line. Be determined, not desperate. And then the second one, your dreams can be delayed but must never be extinguished. So wait your time while the universe delivers you the right hand. Be determined, not desperate. Y'all are amazing. You know, there's two things I would say. Always believe in yourself, man. Don't let nobody talk you out of who you are, what you can be, and the possibilities of who you can be. It's hard, y'all. Releasing my comic book this year was probably something most people would never done, but I did it, and it's successful. Because I know we're in a recession right now in this country. In the world, to be honest with you, money is tight. And yet, I see people at the grocery stores. I see people at shoe stores. I see people at the mall. If they ain't got cash, they got credit, man. One way or another, they dropping these dollars, man. And one way or another, I'm going to keep hustling too. I ain't going to stop. You know what I'm saying? I got a comic book out now, man. I'm not about to let nobody tell me when to release it. And I'm proud of myself for releasing it. Carjack Assassins Training Day comic book, man. Available now on sanuvision.com. It's a great buy. It's a great read. And everybody who's bought it has told me, yo, this book is hit. Is that dude. It's it. You feel me? And I'm proud of myself, man. I would have never released that comic book if I listened to people, man. But I'm glad I don't listen to people. I just said, let me just release this thing. It's time for it to come out. You feel me? So, y'all, as I always say, man, please review us. Rate us. Give us a 5-star. Don't be a hater. And as always, y'all, continue to aspire and achieve. Have a great week. Stay safe, y'all. Peace.